Have you ever noticed how the evenings feel different after 65? The sun sets the same way, the sky still turns that soft orange, but something inside feels quieter, heavier, and maybe even a little lonelier. The house is calmer, the phone rings less often, and as you sit in your favorite chair after dinner, there's a strange mixture of peace and emptiness. But what if I told you that these quiet hours, the ones between dinner and bedtime, could actually be your most powerful hours of the day? Not something to endure or drift through, but something to embrace, to use, transform your health, your mood, even your sense of purpose. In today's video, we're going to explore one simple thing to do every evening after 65, something rooted in neuroscience, used by some of the longest living people in the world, and backed by thousands of seniors who've said, "This changed my nights and my life." You won't need money, equipment, or anyone else to start. Just 30 to 60 minutes, your presence, and the willingness to try. So stay with me to the end, because this isn't just another wellness tip. This is about reclaiming the part of your day that often gets neglected and making it sacred. Now let's begin by understanding why evening is such a crucial time after 65. Scientists have found that after retirement, our routines change dramatically. We lose structure. We often move less, socialize less, and spend more time in front of screens. According to a study from the National Institute on Aging, over 60% of seniors report feeling emotionally low in the late evening hours, between 6 p.m. and bedtime. And here's something even more important. The brain's chemistry shifts dramatically after sunset. Melatonin levels begin to rise, preparing the body for sleep, while cortisol, stress hormone, starts to drop. But if we expose ourselves to negative content, bright artificial light, or mental agitation during this time, we interrupt that natural rhythm. This causes sleep problems, irritability, even a spike in heart risks overnight. That's why what you do in the evening matters just as much, if not more, than what you do in the morning. So what's the secret? What should you try doing after 65? In the evening to improve your life in subtle but powerful ways? The answer: evening renewal ritual. A gentle, intentional way to close each day that has been proven to lower stress, improve sleep, strengthen memory, and bring emotional peace. And no, you don't need to buy anything. You don't need to take a class. You don't even need more than 30 minutes. What you need is a willingness to care for yourself in a way you may never have before. Because according to the National Institute on Aging, over 60% of adults over 65 experience increased emotional decline in the evening. And it's not always sadness. Sometimes it's just numbness, that quiet hum of disconnection. But neuroscientists have found that the brain is most responsive to positive emotional signals in the 90 minutes before sleep. That means the way you spend your evening literally changes how your brain stores memories, how your heart recovers, and how your immune system prepares for the next day. And that's why this isn't just another wellness routine. This is a reset, a way to return to yourself each night, to make peace with the day, to touch calmness again. Because after 65, the outer world becomes less demanding, but the inner world, it becomes everything. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is this evening renewal ritual? At its heart, it's not about perfection or performance. It's about rhythm, presence, and softness. It's about creating a consistent signal to your body and mind that says, "The day is done. You did enough. Now come home to rest." And this ritual has 3 elements: movement, reflection, and environment. But today we'll focus only on the first, because it's the foundation. The act of creating the ritual itself. Creating a ritual, not just a routine, is important. A routine is something we do to get it done. A ritual is something we do with intention, with feeling. It transforms the ordinary into something sacred. And according to Dr. Bruce Perry, a neuropsychiatrist who's worked extensively with trauma recovery, consistent rhythmic pattern behavior is the brain's natural antidote to stress. That means when you design your evening intentionally, with softness and structure, you are literally lowering the stress response in your nervous system. And here's how you begin. Start by choosing your time, ideally 60 to 90 minutes before bed. If you sleep at 10 o'clock, begin at 8:30, but don't worry if you need to shift it. Next, choose your space. Not your couch where the TV blares, not the kitchen with dirty dishes staring at you. Choose a corner, a chair, a window seat, somewhere you can claim as your evening space. Then select a few symbolic items: a soft lamp, a candle, a warm blanket, a favorite book, or a teacup that makes you smile. These are your ritual tools, your anchors. When you sit in this space each night, With these same cues, your brain begins to recognize it as a safety zone. Your body slows, your breath deepens. This is backed by studies from the University of California, which found that seniors who practiced intentional bedtime rituals with physical cues like lighting a candle or sipping warm tea entered sleep 23% faster and woke up 40% less often. Why? Because the brain loves patterns. When you repeat something comforting in the same way, at the same time, in the same place, you are literally training your brain to feel secure, to let go, to stop scanning for danger. This is essential after 65, when sleep often becomes more fragile and anxiety tends to rise after dark. But here's the most beautiful part. When you create this evening renewal ritual, you're not just creating a new habit, you're reclaiming a part of your life. You're telling yourself, I am still worth preparing for. My night is still a space for peace. I am not done living just because the world got quieter. And that's where the transformation begins. One man, James, 73, told us that before starting his ritual, his nights felt long and gray. But after 3 weeks of lighting a candle, stretching slowly, writing one sentence in a notebook, and playing soft instrumental music, he said the nights began to feel like old friends again. Like he could hear his own thoughts, and they weren't so heavy anymore. So if you've been feeling disconnected, if your evenings feel like a blur between dinner and sleep, if you've been scrolling through silence hoping to feel something, maybe this is the invitation not to do more, but to return to yourself, to carve out a space each night that says, I choose gentleness now. Because when you close each day with presence, your body remembers it. Your mind sleeps deeper, your soul softens. And that's what the evening renewal ritual is truly about. Not just sleep, but self-respect. Not just relaxation, but rhythm. And not just rest, but renewal. So tonight, turn off the loud voices. Dim the light, find your quiet corner. Light a small candle. Breathe in slowly, and begin, not because you have to, but because you deserve to. Stay with us in part 2, where we'll explore the first element of this ritual in depth. Gentle movement to soothe the body and boost sleep. But for now, just begin, because after 65, your evenings are not fading, they're deepening. And we talked about creating a gentle, intentional evening renewal ritual after 65. How to design your own sacred space at night, away from the noise, pressure, and distractions. But that's only the beginning, because once your body is calm, once the lights are soft, and the day begins to dim, something deeper often begins to rise, your thoughts. And that's where we begin with one of the most powerful parts of your evening, emotional repression. Because here's the truth. After 65, what often keeps us up at night isn't just an aching hip or a noisy neighbor. It's what's going on inside, thoughts you didn't have time to deal with during the day, memories that arrive quietly and uninvited. That's why emotional reflection isn't just helpful, it's essential. According to a 2020 study from the Journal of Gerontology, seniors who practice structured evening reflection for just 10 minutes a night reported a 41% reduction in nighttime anxiety, a 29% improvement in sleep quality, and most interestingly, a stronger sense of meaning. Why? Because when you pause to emotionally process your day, you're not just reviewing what happened, you're teaching your brain how to file those experiences in a healthy way. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, one of the world's leading experts in affective neuroscience, explains that labeling and reflecting on emotions before sleep helps regulate the nervous system, decrease cortisol, and create emotional coherence. In simple terms, reflection turns chaos into clarity. So how do you actually do it? You don't need to be a writer. You don't even need full sentences. You just need a quiet moment, a pen if you like, and the willingness to look inward. We recommend asking yourself 3 simple questions each night. You can speak them aloud, whisper them, write them down, or just close your eyes and feel the answers rise from within. First, what am I grateful for today? It could be something as simple as the smell of your afternoon tea, the sound of birds outside your window, or the way your body allowed you to walk without pain. This isn't about fake positivity. It's about training your mind to notice what still works, what still brings you joy. According to Harvard Medical School, seniors who practiced nightly gratitude journaling experienced improved mood, better blood pressure, and even lower inflammation markers. Why? Because gratitude, when practiced regularly, shifts your brain's default setting from fear to calm. Second question, what moment made me smile, even briefly? This might sound similar to gratitude, but it's different. Here you're looking for microjoys, those small, often overlooked moments that lightened your spirit. Maybe a neighbor waved. Maybe your soup turned out just right. Maybe your favorite song came on the radio. Neuroscientists call this positive emotional encoding. When you recall small, joyful events before bed, your brain holds onto them more tightly. They become emotional resources you can draw on later, especially during hard times. Third question, what do I want to release from today and not carry into tomorrow? This is where healing begins, because we all carry things we don't mean to. An offhand comment from someone that hurt, a mistake we made, or simply a sense that we didn't do enough. But here's what's powerful. When you acknowledge it and name it and say, I'm letting this go for tonight, you shift your emotional state from control to surrender. You tell your brain it's safe to rest now. This is deeply rooted in therapeutic practice. In fact, cognitive behavioral therapists use similar nighttime rituals to treat insomnia and chronic worry, especially in older adults. One 2019 randomized controlled trial, published in Sleep Medicine, found that emotional reflection lowered nighttime rumination significantly more than medication in the long term. But don't worry about getting it right. This isn't school. There's no grade. You don't need to be profound. The key is consistency. One senior Mrs. L, 82 years old, told us she started by writing one sentence a night. At first it felt strange, she said, but now it feels like prayer. Like I'm tucking my heart into bed, not just my body. And that's exactly the point. Emotional reflection isn't just a habit, it's an act of self-respect. It's you saying, my thoughts matter. My feelings deserve space. My story is still unfolding. And here's what happens when you do it regularly. Your sleep deepens. Your mood stabilizes, you wake up lighter, you begin to process grief more gently, carry less resentment, and actually experience more joy. Because you're making space for it, you're clearing emotional clutter. One man, Min, 70, started writing down what he needed to release each night on a small piece of paper. Then he'd fold it and drop it into a little wooden box on his nightstand. It's not magic, he said, but it feels like a ritual, like I'm handing my burdens to something bigger than me. And that sense of ritual, of letting go, of resemblance, that is what emotional reflection offers you. Not a perfect life, but a peaceful end to each day, and you deserve that, especially now. So tonight, after you've stretched your body or sipped your tea, find your quiet space. Ask yourself those 3 questions. Be honest, be gentle. Don't judge what comes up. Just witness it. Thank your heart for carrying you through another day, and then rest. Because you are not just passing time in your later years, you are gathering wisdom. In every moment you choose to reflect, you are choosing peace over pressure, depth over distraction, stillness over noise. This is the soul of the evening renewal ritual. In part 3, we'll explore how to shape your external environment through light, sound, and scent to support deep, restorative sleep. But for now, begin here. Begin with you, begin with your truth. And remember, after 65, the evening isn't a decline, it's a doorway. Step through it softly and listen to what your heart has been waiting to say. Let's set the scene. It's late, the clock is slowing down, the day has already been lived. You've moved your body, you've reflected on your emotions, but now, what next? You head toward the bedroom, but instead of peace, something still feels unsettled. The lights are still bright, the TV is still humming, the phone buzzes, and your brain, even though your body is tired, feels like it's running laps. You know the feeling. You've yawned 5 times and still no sleep. So what's missing? The answer, my friend, lies in your environment. And this brings us to the third and final part of your evening renewal ritual, sensory preparation. Think of it like this. Your brain is not a machine that shuts down at the flick of a switch. It's more like a garden at dusk. It needs soft cues, gentle light, slow transition, and after 65, those cues become even more important. Why? Because as we age, melatonin, the hormone that signals to your body that it's time to sleep, declines naturally. This means your brain needs more help, not less, to recognize that night has come. And that help comes through your 5 senses. What you see, hear, feel, smell, and taste in the final hour before sleep. So tonight, I want you to think of your bedroom not just as a place to sleep, but as a space to land, to exhale, to return to stillness. And that begins with light. Bright overhead lighting confuses your brain. It tells your body, stay alert, but soft amber light, the kind you get from a small lamp, a salt rock, or even a candle, tells your nervous system, it's okay, you can let go now. Research from the Sleep Foundation shows that seniors exposed to warm light in the hour before bed fall asleep faster and experience fewer nighttime awakening. So turn off the ceiling light, use a lamp with a warm bulb. Let your eyes rest. Then comes sound. What are you feeding your ears in the evening? Is it violence, breaking news, or the constant ping of your phone? Or is it something gentler, something that soothes? The human brain, especially in later life, is deeply responsive to sound. A 2022 study from the University of Toronto found that listening to soft instrumental music before bed improved deep sleep in older adults by 33%. So instead of news, try nature sounds. Instead of tension, try soft piano, rain sounds, or even the familiar melodies of music from your youth. Songs that remind you of moments when life was still unfolding. Because nostalgia, believe it or not, calms the emotional brain. It grounds you. Now let's talk scent. Essential oils may seem like a luxury, but for seniors, they can be a tool for real healing. Lavender, sandalwood, or cedarwood oils, diffused gently in the room or dabbed on a pillow, can reduce blood pressure, lower cortisol, and signal your body to begin the sleep cycle. According to a 2021 clinical trial published in Complementary Therapies in Medicine, older adults who inhaled lavender oil before bed not only fell asleep faster, but woke up more refreshed. The science is real, but so is the feeling, that deep breath you take when the air smells safe, familiar, clean. That's what scent can give you. Then there's touch. What does your bed feel like? Your pillow, your pajamas? After 65, sensitivity to temperature increases. Circulation slows. So consider adding a weighted blanket for comfort, or a heating pad to soothe joints. Soft, breathable cotton sheets, a familiar throw that reminds you of something beautiful. These are not trivial details. These are cues your body reads as signs of safety. And safety, more than anything, is the true prerequisite for sleep. Lastly, consider taste. A small ritual cup of warm chamomile tea, lemon balm, or golden milk. Nothing with caffeine, nothing with sugar. Just warmth. Bitterness and sweetness in balance, like life. That last sip is a closing note to the day. A gentle punctuation mark that says today is complete. You did enough. You are enough. And now, it's time to rest. Think of all this as a language, a conversation between your environment and your nervous system. Every dimmed light, every soft note of music, every calming scent, it's all telling your brain, you can stop bracing now. You can rest. And when done consistently, night after night, these sensory cues become sacred. Your room becomes not just a place to sleep, but a place of ritual, a space that remembers your rhythms, a space that welcomes you back to yourself. One senior, Eleanor, 79, told us she used to dread going to bed. The darkness, the silence. It felt like a void. But then she created her ritual, a lamp beside her bed, soft jazz playing low, lavender mist on her pillow, and a small photo of her husband on the nightstand. It's not just a room now, she said. It's a place I return to not just to sleep, but to feel like me again. And that's what I want for you. Not perfection, not performance, but peace. A peace that begins with small, intentional acts. So tonight, look at your room, look at your light, listen to your sound. Ask yourself, is this space helping me rest or keeping me alert? And then begin to shift, one light, one sound, one breath at a time. Because sensory preparation is not about decorating, it's about devotion. And after 65, you've earned that devotion from yourself. Every night, every evening, every moment of calm you create, it adds up. It strengthens your sleep, it soothes your heart, it deepens your connection to the life you are still beautifully living. So take a breath, dim the lights, and step gently into your sanctuary. The day is over, and now, it's time to come home. Now let's talk about timing. The best window to begin this ritual is between 8 o'clock and 8:30 p.m. if you sleep around 10 o'clock. But even if your schedule is different, the key is consistency. The body loves rhythm. When you repeat the same calming activities at the same time each night, your nervous system adapts. Sleep becomes deeper, mood becomes more stable, energy during the day improves. This is how you age well, from the inside out. But don't just take it from me. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 78, a retired engineer, living alone since his wife passed away 5 years ago. He said evenings were the worst. They felt endless, he told me. Too quiet, too empty. His daughter encouraged him to try an evening routine. At first he resisted, but eventually he started with one thing, stretching before bed. Then he added journaling. Then he began playing soft piano music while making tea. After 3 weeks, he said, evenings feel sacred now. Not empty, sacred. He started sleeping longer, waking less, and even feeling more optimistic in the morning. His story isn't rare. It's what happens when we stop letting time pass by us and instead engage with it gently. So let's review. After 65, your evenings shouldn't just be leftover hours. They should be the richest part of your day. To reclaim that time, start with gentle movement to care for your joints and circulation. Follow that with emotional reflection to process your day and release mental tension. Finally, shape your environment with sound, light, scent, and warmth that invites your body to rest. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need expensive tools. You just need a quiet commitment to yourself. Because how you end your day, every day, will shape how you feel, how you sleep, and even how long you live. And if you've been watching this far, it means you're ready. Ready to make a small change that leads to a big difference. So tonight, don't just sit and wait for bedtime. Don't let the night slip by in a blur of screens or silence. Try the evening renewal ritual for your body, for your mind, for your spirit. Because after 65, you're not winding down, you're deepening. You're still writing the story, and every good story deserves a peaceful ending to each day. If this video inspired you, leave a comment below. Tell us what part of the ritual you're going to try tonight. If you know someone over 65 who needs this message, share this with them. And if you'd like more videos to help you feel strong, healthy, and fulfilled in your later years, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell. We're building a community where age is not a weakness, but a wisdom. Thank you for being here. May tonight be your most peaceful yet.